Yes, a very good evening. Hope you've had a great week. Sit back, relax, off the bench. Proudly brought to you by GRV. And don't forget to get your bets on for this Saturday's Terrelgan Cup with the Tab. Got a massive show coming up. Ros Lanigan, Country Footy's First Lady, will join us with a sharp focus on the southwest and Surf Coast. Great story about the resurrection of the Kyneton Football Club. The wheel is back, as is this man, the 1997 Cargie medalist, or Cargie Greaves medalist, I should say, which is Geelong's best and fairest. But we like to refer him as the 1995 Brownlow medal favourite, and got no votes. Welcome, Pix.
Yeah, good to be here again, Sway. I love those introductions that you do for me.
It's in the rundown.
I know. And it's good to be here. It's been an eventful week with the ladies all being announced.
Oh, yes.
It's terrific
Exciting
signs
times.
in footy, it is. And I'm very excited about our special guest tonight, I must say.
Yeah, I am too, because I was a mad Hawthorn supporter back in the day growing up in country Victoria, and I watched this man do some amazing things. And he is an AFL legend and an Essendon legend and an all-round legend, and that is Terry Daniher. Welcome, TD.
Well done, Wayne. It's good to be here, mate.
Hey.
Liam.
Thanks very much for joining us. Seems like a long...
Well, I had nothing else to do. You come in here and you rang me a couple of times.
Do you know why we've got him in? Because at 58 years old, you put the boots back on last week.
You what?
Oh, I did, yes, yeah. Put them on. Chris worked on me and said, come on, I'm 50, so you're only bloody 8 years older than me, so you come up here and have a run. But it was mainly, Liam, just to promote the game, and we had a big celebration up there, a 100-year celebration.
Well, we're going to get to that shortly. We may have a couple of photos of you doing some fine work at 58, but who are these three good-looking roosters back in the day?
Oh, Mum made sure we always had the right attire, buttons done up, socks pulled up. She's probably thinking along the lines, well, I'm not too sure how far they're going to go and how many kicks they're going to get, but they're going to at least look like a footballer.
Well, there you go, and you've got the Scanlon's footy card. Remember Scanlon's back in the day?
How old were you there, TD?
Oh, that'd be early 20s, I'd say, yeah.
And of course, that's the famous one when all the boys played together. That game, I reckon, was it Moorabbin?
Yeah, down at Moorabbin, 1990. It was a great day, but remember probably the celebrations afterwards probably dulled a lot of the memories. But I know we won, and the boys performed pretty well that day. It was great to see Neil eventually get back there and overcome his knees and get a couple of games in.
You had a great career, TD. 313 VFL, AFL games, 369 goals, represented the state 15 times, including New South Wales, 2 flags, 84, 85. Who could forget that? Played with your three brothers. Mate, you've done it all. It's a bloody good career.
Well, you know, and Liam, you've been in the game and played your cricket and your footy, like we all did, coming from the bush. And I think the most pleasing aspect of it is, mate, the fact that you're able to front up each week or most weekends. You know, I always feel a bit disappointed for those that probably a bit like Neil were crippled with injuries and had a lot of bad luck. You know, there's a lot of them out there as well, but you know, touch wood, I was able to run out for Hungary there last weekend. I've been able to play footy and got out of the game okay, and there's a lot of fond memories go with it.
What about when you went back to the country and you went back and captain coached Hungary back in the day? That would have been really enjoyable because you got a few flags out of that as well.
I didn't go back and coach Hungary. I went back to Wagga Wagga and coached Wagga Tigers there for 6 years. That was a great period for me just after I'd retired at the end of '92 and had 6 pretty enjoyable years up there in Paul Kelly. It was Paul Kelly's old club, and the Careys actually cut their teeth at Wagga Tigers before they went out to North Wagga, and Wayne and Dick. So they were a great club. We had a bit of success up there too, mate, so that always helps. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been a town, Wagga's been a town that's spent a lot of good sports, not just footballers, but also great cricketers.
Yeah, and great rugby league players. Mortimer, Sterling, you had Lawson and Taylor and of course Michael Slater. So great breeding ground. You know, Wagga district. And now we see players like young Hopper at GWS, and of course Luke Bruce and Isaac Smith and Cootamundra boy. Luke's from out of Temora, predominantly a rugby league town, but their footy's going well now. And Matty Suckling.
Something in the water up that way, TD. I tell you what, you're a famous footballing family for deeds that you've done on the footy field, but I've got to say, We were at the MCG on Monday. You must be incredibly proud and inspired by what your brother Neil is able to do and continues to do with Freeze MND. Another significant amount of money raised, but as a man that's grown up with a brother and seen what he's dealing with on a daily basis, he's nothing short of incredibly inspiring.
Well, he's had a few obstacles to overcome throughout his career, and I suppose the first one was leaving the farm at the tender age of 12. He was lucky enough to win a scholarship to go to St Pat's in Goulburn, so I went with him down there, carried his bags for him. By geez, I said to Neilo, when he walked me down the dorms and said, "This is my new home, this is where I'm going to be bunked up," I said, "Geez, son, you're going to miss out Mum's cooking here." And she's a pretty cold place, Goulburn. Yeah. But he saw through all of that and grew up pretty quick. That's probably what created a few problems for him, because I don't think I ever saw him lift a bale of hay. Well, he never did any hard farm work, so that's probably his knees were a bit weak. But no, look, he's done a marvellous job with that motor neurone. And trying to, with a lot of support.
Absolutely.
But he's hell bent on trying to. He's seen a lot of people suffer with it.
Yep.
And he knows that he can. He's going to draw from the profile that he has and work hard to see if they can't continue to raise money and raise that awareness out there. And of course, everyone's got him behind him.
Yep. And
we hope we can find a cure not too far down.
If you'd like to donate, you can do that at this particular address there. So do that. We'd encourage you. You don't go home empty-handed, TD. We're going to give you $100 worth of St Goliath clothing. Street trends. You'd look absolutely magnificent. Available at Myer and Edge Clothing stores nationally. Thanks very much for coming in. And we're going to take a break. Come back with Ros Lanigan, Country Footy's First Lady, coming up next. Welcome back to Off the Bench. Make sure you head to grv.org.au for all the form and the tab odds for this Saturday's Terrelgan Cup. If you're in the area, get down, have a look at some of the best greyhounds running around. Talking about around, time now to head around the state. As we welcome the one and only Country Footy's First Lady, Ros Lanigan. Great to have you back, Ros.
Terrific to be here once again.
Sharp focused on the southwest and surf coast tonight.
Yes, and we're going to start off in the Pickering Football League, Swatter, where there was a huge win for Modiwarri Football Club on the weekend. They knocked off the top of the table Cooters in round 11. As we see here, a kick after the siren that would have drawn the game for Queenscliff had they kicked a goal, but it went out on the full. Now, it was the second time the teams had met this season, and it was a whopping 86-point turnaround in favour of the Warriors, who lost to the Cooters by 80 points back in round 2, Pickers.
What happened? What's the turnaround in those two teams?
It's really hard to say. I guess Modiwarri's obviously got its seasons going, at the midpoint of the season. It was actually the first time this year the Warriors had beaten a team above them on the ladder. 2 weeks ago, they lost to the reigning premiers Geelong Amateur by 50 points, so they're a bit up and down. As we take a look at the ladder there, Queenscliff and the Amos are tied at the top of the table. Anglesea not far behind. Newcombe Power actually still without a win this year. In fact, you need to go back to round 10 at 2013 to find the last time that they sung the song. So really imbalance between the top and the bottom of the table in that competition. As we go to the Hampton League ladder, there was a genuine upset here in round 9. 6th place Cobden knocked off 2nd place Warrnambool by 8 points. A big result there and a particularly good win for the Bombers, given that they got smashed by ladder leaders North Warrnambool by 53 points the week before. Now, North Warrnambool Eagles, as you can see, are 2 games clear of Warrnambool with 9 rounds to play. No doubt everyone at North Warrnambool is up and about. They haven't won a flag since 1994, and that was back in the Warrnambool and District Footy League. So a long time between drinks for the Eagles boys, and I'm sure they'll be keen to get the job done this year. South Warrnambool. Sort of your team only won 5 games last year, and they've already done that this season, so they're up and going. In the Warrnambool and District Football League, Old Collegians, the front runner after 10 rounds. They're searching for their first senior flag since 1992. The Warriors had a huge win over Salad Dwellers Russells Creek on the weekend, 31 goals to 2, Pickers. Never mind that. Scott Lenihan kicked 8 goals and Josh Stapleton kicked 7 in that game. 1 versus 3 this weekend. Old Collegians head to Nurut to take on Calora Nurut. The Power is coming off a 40-point loss to 2nd place Denny Wellington, so they'll need to win this week to stay in touch with the top two. And finally, in the Colac and District League Football League, I need to catch my breath here, Berwickara remains on top and a game clear after a massive 111-point win over Otway Districts on Saturday. Now, the Saints were knocked out in last year's elimination final after losing the 2014 grand final to Simpson, but they're undefeated this year and they certainly look the goods, the Berwickara Saints.
Take a breath, Rosie. Outstanding work. Really well done there. I don't know how many words you managed to squeeze in, but I tell you what you did do. You covered the southwest and south surf coast beautifully well. Hey, Pickers, on Monday just gone, much to my disappointment and probably yours, some of the best young Victorian talent was on display down at Simmons Stadiums. Vic Metro under-18s took on Vic Country, and unfortunately for us, Metro got it done just.
They did. Vic Country won last year, dominated last year, really had a lot of players drafted, and they're very talented this year as well, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done, as you say, down there at Simmons Stadium.
This was a really disappointing result for the Country boys, because to go down by 2 points after leading by 4 goals at three-quarter time, Metro slammed on 6 goals to 2 in the final term. Daniel Venables was the hero. He kicked a goal in the final minute to seal the win for Metro. Huge swings in this match. Vic Country led by 22 points at the first change. Metro was up by 3 points at the main break, and they were in front again when it mattered, as you can see here. Ben Ainsworth from Morwell booted 4 goals for the Country boys, all in the third quarter. Shepherd and Export Will Brodie and South Warrnambool's Hugh McCluggage also very good games, and a couple of bottom majors in James Warple and Lockie O'Brien played really well as well, Pickers.
They did. He's a very talented player, Lockie O'Brien.
And
he's a beauty.
Vic Country will play on the 24th of June against South Australia at Etihad. Pickers, how important is the Under-18 Championship to a player's draft prospects?
Oh, critical, really. When you look at it, it's really the showcase of the highest level, and I look at a lot of the players that haven't performed in country championships or in the national championships, and then they go on and probably struggle, to be fair.
Yep.
They might drop down the pecking order in the draft sense. But overall, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's really important. So that's the best way I'd put it. So what, you would have been a carnival player. I wasn't even picked for the Wimmera.
No.
You didn't play in the carnival?
No.
Yeah, well, it is becoming very important nowadays.
It is in the modern game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, talking about good football and winning streaks, Navarre, they are doing an amazing job. They're actually closing in on the statewide record, 48 undefeated wins.
Correct, 48 games on the trot, including the 2013.
48 consecutive wins is what I meant to say. That's how impressed I am. I completely butchered it.
Including the 2013, 14 and 15 flags, of course, for the Grasshoppers. Now, there's not a lot of accurate records in country footy going back in the day, but the longest winning streak in country footy is believed to be Hazelwood Footy Club in the Mid-Gippsland League, now playing as Churchill, of course, in the North Gippsland Footy League. They won 50 games in a row between 1951 and 1953, so the Navarre boys very close.
One quick question for you on this.
Yes.
How many Bibbies, Hannets and Driscolls in that side? Because everyone from Navarre is a Bibby, a Hannet or a Driscoll.
It'd have to be close to about 15, I would reckon.
And a very good evening to Hannah Driscoll, who is a part of that family. And well done to that footy club. Keep the streak going. Hey, time now to have a look at the GRV news, and with a particular focus on the upcoming Traralgon Cup, Rosie.
Yes, the final of the Traralgon Cup will be run Saturday night. That's a Group 2 race worth $67,000. Now, we're taking a look at one of the heats from Saturday night. Jezelenko ran second. He ran second to Demon Bale in Heat 3, but he was still quick enough to score a spot in the final. Jezelenko is a local dog trained by Terry Marie Morris at Traralgon. He'll certainly have Carlton fans and the entire town of Traralgon cheering him home when he goes from box 7 in the 525 metre race on Saturday. Now, he actually holds a track record of 29.83 seconds over the cup distance at Traralgon, but Glenview Park Traralgon racetrack was renovated last year, so those records don't go back very far, but he is a quick dog, and another local funky pirate for Mick Fernley at Yallourn will be going around in the final as well. So a couple of local dogs, hopefully one of them can get up on Saturday night.
Oh, we're on Jezelenko, aren't we, Pickers?
Yeah,
there we go. Thanks, Rosie.
We
We'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us tonight as we head to the break. Don't forget, you can check out the Traralgon Cup this Saturday if you're in the area. Pop down because it'll be featuring some of Victoria's best greyhounds. Saturday, 18th of June, 4 massive finals featuring Victoria's fastest greyhounds. Get your bets on with the tab and go to grv.org.au for the best form available. Off the bench, coming up next with more. Yeah, welcome back to the program. Great to have your company on this Friday night. Kyneton, you got a family connection up there, have you not?
Yeah, I do. My brother-in-law, two of my sisters live in Kyneton. One lives in Wood End, so follow Kyneton pretty closely.
Well, it's a great story, Pix, and you'll know this story really, really well, but some of our other viewers from across the state may not know that this was a club on its knees, and they've done a remarkable job turning things around. Let's have a look at what the Kyneton Footy Club have managed to do in recent times.
Kyneton's changed a hell of a lot. When I delivered telegrams and mail, I knew everyone in the town. A lot different now. You walk up the street and you might know 50% of the people if you're lucky.
Beautiful place, very proud. Heritage around the town. We've got the beautiful Piper Street, so we get a number of unique visitors into the township, which is fantastic, and there is certainly a lot of history in the Kyneton community, and they're great supporters of the football club.
My mum used to come around and park our car here, and people we knew from Rochie used to come and she'd back out the car and they'd put their car in because you couldn't get around the fence, and right around the ground there'd be 2 or 3 deep standing behind the cars. Like, it was absolutely unbelievable.
It's been a challenging recent few years for the football club, and I guess when I say recent, the last 10, so it's a fairly challenging period. Our last flag was in 1997, which I was fortunate enough to play in. And since then, we're probably on a bit of a gradual demise. That'll probably come to the front about 2 years ago when we went into recession for a year.
We were that far behind the Bendigo sides, but we're catching up, and we're catching up because we do now have under 10s, under 12s, under 14s and under 16s.
There was a number of local people, but in particular local business operators in Brodels from Evolve Joinery and Stone, and also Rick Egan from who does a local construction business. They formed a group called Team Tiger, and that included a number of business operators and local people who'd previously been involved with the club.
We were given 4 or 5 months to get our act together. We had to come up with a new business plan and a new constitution and put a sort of a new board together, and we had to go out and get a new team basically from scratch.
What is really unique and fantastic about Rob Waters is that he actually has no real connection to the football club. He's just a person who was approached as part of that rebuilding phase, potentially because of his media element and I guess his football smarts. He's been fantastic in that role, along with Karen O'Sullivan and Aidan Strang in supporting roles over the last 2 years.
Now we've got all the junior sides here and going, which is great. We've had new lights which were lit up for the first time during the week, which cost over $500,000 of government money, which we're thrilled about, and we're gradually improving the standard of the facilities here. So playing Eaglehawk today, they knocked us off in the elimination final last year. So these are sort of the games either club have got to win, really. It'll go a long way to perhaps sorting out who finishes 5th or 4th. So it's a pretty big game for both clubs.
I think we've learnt from our past, and we're really looking to continue to improve. We were 5th last year. I'd really like to hope that we can push to aim for 4th or 3rd this year.
And now we want to gradually build and end up having a crack at a flag, I suppose. Whether we can get there this year, who knows? But we'll just keep pushing for that, continue to provide opportunities for local kids.
Honestly reckon we'll make the finals. How far we go, I don't know. But it's just good, and it's great for the town, you know. There's more and more get to the footy when the Tigers are winning.
We're all also about people having a good time and enjoying themselves. I don't think you can take country footy too seriously, so we're all about that as well. But yeah, it'd be nice to win one soon. As for a time frame, well, the sooner the better.
Yeah, well, I think they've already won, Pix. Robbie Waters done an amazing job. In fact, everybody involved with that footy club have done an amazing job, because this was a town, and a popular country town, without a senior football team, and they've managed to resurrect it.
Yeah, they did, and obviously Rob has done a great job as the president. He thinks he's Eddie Maguire. He does.
Really?
It's the first time I've seen him being interviewed without a suit on.
Right, yep.
So he's very, very sharp. But they've done well. I was at that game on the weekend.
You were?
Yeah,
were you?
Yeah, I was at the game.
What were you doing?
I was watching. I went up there, my kids were over, and I took them to the footy.
Well,
to see the.
I'm not sure you were just doing that. Have a look at this AFL superstar and how he just happened to walk in on the interview with Robbie Waters.
Hello. You're doing a bit of off the bench style. Get away. It is. Yeah. He's Lenny P.
This is my show anyway.
Yeah, he's Lenny P. We're putting the hat around for him a bit later on.
This is my show anyway.
Well, you know what?
Robbie had his high pants up. What are you doing?
I can tell you right now.
You had no idea?
I had no idea.
Oh, rubbish.
The technology these days, Lockie McKinnon is 6'8", our main man, our producer, and he was leaning against the wall, so I didn't see him.
That is a deliberate walk-on.
A very, very small camera, so I apologise for
not having a bar
there.
of it. Not having a bar of it. He sabotaged the interview. Well done, Robbie Waters. We'll be back with the final wrap of the show after the break. 2016 Off the Bench, brought to you by Victoria's Greyhounds. Don't forget the Terrell Cup this Saturday features 4 big races and Victoria's fastest greyhounds. That's very disappointing, Bix.
It is.
It's our favourite part of the show, the Celebrate at the Country Races Wheel, with lots of goodies to be won each and every week. And the major prize, a $2,500 marquee package at the Kilmore Cup later this year, and that'll be drawn on our Grand Final Eve show. But we need contestants in order to spin the wheel each and every week, so get your entry in, and all the information about celebrating at the country races at countryracing.com.au. Got us off to a flying start last week, Picks, with the major prize, a $1,000 voucher.
Yeah, this week we're playing, and the lucky contestant, given the way the wheel was spun last week, is Sue Raymond from Warrnambool. So, Sue, good luck.
Yep.
I'm going to give it a nice big spin for you and see if we can get you the major prize.
Righto, let's go, Picks. What do we got there?
It's the Mares and Stallions
Apparel.
Apparel, yeah.
Men's jacket, ladies' jacket.
Very nice
unisex
jacket.
vests and a couple of caps. So well done to you, Sue, and very good job by all the team at Country Racing Victoria, countryracing.com.au. Get your entries in and all the T's and C's to be a part of the wheel. Righto, Picks. It's time now for All the Odds, brought to you by William Hill Online Racing and Sports Betting. William Hill, faster, easier betting.
Okay, this week there's cracking games all around. Geelong favourites, I reckon, to really...
Etihad Stadium.
Not sure about that.
Dogs' backyard.
But I'm not going to drop off the Cats. I'll go for the Dogs in that one.
All right.
Fremantle, Port. Well, Fremantle finding a little bit of form. I think they can win against Port Adelaide, so already 2 upsets for me. Sydney, you'd think, would bounce back really strongly.
No Tippett, those 6 weeks he's out.
Yeah, and the Demons playing really well
They
too.
are.
It's hard to have a go at them. Well, that's $1.01's probably being generous from William Hill. They're just giving away money to beat Eston, the way the Giants are playing.
What about the Brownlow market after Paddy Dangerfield's 48 disposal game last week?
He looks hard to stop at this stage. Dustin Martin at $17 would be one that I'd be looking at if I was allowed to have a bet, but I'm not.
And of course, bet responsibly. Thanks, Picks. Thanks to Ros. Have a great weekend. Good luck to all the footy and netball teams. We'll see you next week.